Today I'm going to be making potato gnocchi. They're so easy to make at home that I promise you, you won't regret the effort. So we're going to use Desiree potatoes. You need a potato for gnocchi that's not too waxy and not too floury. We're going to bake them on a bed of rock salt, which gives a better flavour than boiling and also keeps them a bit drier, which is really important for this recipe. Then we're going to mix them with plain flour, a couple of these lovely blue eggs. I chose them because they're beautiful, but you can use ordinary eggs. And then we're just going to season it with salt and a little bit of nutmeg. So you just need an ordinary baking dish, fill the bottom with rock salt, nice generous layer there just for the potatoes to sit on, which just helps soak up any moisture. Prick them all over so they don't explode in the oven. And bake them in the oven for around an hour, depending on the size of your potatoes. And then once they're cold enough to handle, just peel off the skins. Once you peeled the potatoes, you can rice them. I'm using a potato ricer, but you could also push the potatoes through a fine sieve instead. Sprinkle over the flour, maybe start with about 3/4 and then see how you get on, because if you add too much flour, then you end up with quite heavy gnocchi. Salt and just a little bit of nutmeg. Lightly beat the eggs together. Now we're going to mix it all together, which is the fun part. Just make a well in the centre, a bit like a volcano. Tip in your eggs and then very gradually work it all together into the egg. You don't have to use eggs in gnocchi, but I think it gives them a bit of a firmer texture and makes the dough easier to work with. As soon as your dough comes together, stop work on it. It will be quite squidgy, but if you overwork it, then you'll end up with tough gnocchi. So give your work surface a little bit of a clear and give your hands a wash, because you really need clean, dry, well-floured hands to shape your gnocchi or it'll be an absolute nightmare. Then take your dough and flatten it out to a rough square that's about 1.5 centimetres thick. Then cut it into strips that are also about 1.5 centimetres wide. So just take each little nugget of gnocchi and just roll it gently down the back of the fork like that. You don't have to do this, but little grooves help sauce to cling more easily. I'm going to make a really simple sage butter sauce to go with these gnocchi just before I cook them. Melt some butter in a pan, just a sort of generous knob of it. And once the butter's all melted, then you can add in a few leaves of sage. So this is what we're looking for here. Butter's got a lovely sort of caramelly colour, so take that off the heat. Just set it aside while you cook the gnocchi. Try and work quite quickly and make sure you don't overcrowd the pan, because you don't want them to be sticking together. When they're nearly ready, they'll start to float to the top of the pan. Now, once most of them have started to float, count to 10 very slowly and then take them out with a slotted spoon. They're quite fragile, so don't do them too much violence. And now we're ready to plate up. And there we are, potato gnocchi with sage butter.